Hey, why can't we get some balloons?
Hey, because you didn't buy it, it's broke. You bought the turtle.
We didn't buy the turtle.
Oh, you might have money, ask me.
We got...
The NFL world was left in shock when what was supposed to be a chill, lighthearted conversation between young stars suddenly turned into one of the wildest moments of the offseason. Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback everyone watches and talks about, whether they love him or hate him, once again found himself in the middle of controversy. But this time, it had nothing to do with his play on the field or his last name. This time, it was because New York Giants running back Skattebo decided to say something he probably wishes he could take back. During a live show featuring some of the NFL's brightest young talents, including Micah Parsons, Shedeur Sanders, and the Sanders brothers themselves, things took a turn nobody saw coming. What started as jokes and good vibes quickly got awkward when Skattebo made a comment that sucked the air out of the room. He called Shedeur Sanders broke. Yeah, broke. Say that out loud and it already sounds crazy. And when you really think about who he was talking to, it sounds even more ridiculous. The comment came after Skattebo brought up Shedeur being a fifth-round contract holder, clearly taking a shot at where Shedeur was picked in the draft compared to himself. It was supposed to be trash talk, the kind of little jabs players throw around all the time, but this one didn't land at all. If anything, it exposed how out of touch Skattebo is with how the business side of the NFL actually works, and with the massive brand Shedeur Sanders had already built long before he ever stepped onto an NFL field.
You didn't buy it, it's broke. You bought the turtle.
We didn't buy the turtle.
Oh, you might have money, ask me.
We got...
Shedeur's reaction told the whole story. He didn't bark back, he didn't start going back and forth, he didn't even raise his voice. He just looked at Skattebo, a look that said everything without him having to say a word, and then smiled. Not a friendly smile, the kind of smile that lets you know someone just messed up. That's veteran-level composure from a young player who's been under a microscope his whole life. Shedeur knows when something is worth responding to, and when it's not. Skattebo clearly isn't built for moments like that. Let's be real, Skattebo was trying to be slick. He was trying to stand out in a room full of bigger names and louder personalities. But calling Shedeur Sanders broke is like calling Bill Gates cheap. It's not just wrong, it's laughable. And the numbers make that painfully obvious. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is the highest jersey seller in the NFL this year, not just among rookies, in the entire league. Think about that for a second. Fans are buying his jersey more than guys who've been in the league for years, more than Pro Bowlers, more than Super Bowl champs.
They told me bust out my AP, perfect time, man. Got them baguettes up on my neck, stay shining.
The money Shedeur has made from jersey sales alone this year probably clears what Skattebo is making on his whole contract. And that's not speculation. Even former NFL MVP Cam Newton has talked about it. Shedeur isn't just a quarterback, he's a brand, and brands make money in a completely different stratosphere.
This is the first time in history that a fifth-round pick has led jersey sales. Nobody is watching third, fourth round as much as we would watch it. But you got to understand, freedom of speech is not free. And I think what Shedeur was doing, what Shedeur was saying, what his father was saying, and the way the father has kind of engulfed his children as you're going into a league where it's like, yo.
Shedeur Sanders has sold the most amount of jerseys out of any rookie this year.
And it gets even crazier, depending on whether you're laughing as a fan or cringing if you're Skattebo. Gatorade recently came to Shedeur Sanders with a deal that would have had most players signing immediately. $60 million over 3 years. That's life-changing money for almost anyone. You take that deal and never look back. But Shedeur isn't wired like most players. Instead of just grabbing the guaranteed bag, he made a move that showed real business vision. He structured the deal to get 3% ownership in Gatorade USA. Now, 3% might sound small, but when you're talking about a company pulling in billions every year, that's serious money. Gatorade is one of the biggest beverage brands on the planet, and owning even a small slice of that means Shedeur is set up to get paid for a long, long time. This isn't about quick money. This is about building generational wealth. This is about setting up his family for the long run. And if things keep going the way they're going, Shedeur Sanders is on track to become the youngest NFL billionaire while he's still playing. Not a millionaire, a billionaire, while he's still lining up on Sundays. Let that sink in. Cam Skattebo can only dream about that level of success. And yet, there he was on a live show calling Shedeur broke. The irony is wild. And that Gatorade deal isn't even the whole story. Long before Shedeur ever took his first NFL snap, he already had a record-setting endorsement deal that had the sports world buzzing. At the time, the $125 million number sounded crazy for someone who hadn't even played a down in the league yet. People questioned it. Critics were loud, but Shedeur never flinched. He knew what he brought to the table, and the brands clearly knew that too.
Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, goes viral, but not for football, but for how he structured his contract. He had an equity clause in his deal with Gatorade. That clause basically said, I'm not just here as a name or a body. I want part of what's being built off of me. I want ownership in the outcome. So that clause essentially just preserved his interest. And he didn't walk away with just a one-time check. He walked away with his corrected status in the contract, and he claimed his equity.
Then things went nuclear. The second Shedeur stepped onto the field for his first preseason action, Nike activated a special active player clause in his contract. Just like that, the deal doubled. His earnings jumped to $250 million over the next 4 years. And it wasn't just about the money. He also locked in a crazy 50% cut of all his jersey sales. That means every time someone buys a Shedeur Sanders jersey, he's getting half of that profit. That kind of setup puts him in a different lane than almost every other rookie. While other guys are happy signing their first endorsement deal and learning how to manage their checks, Shedeur was already playing the business game at an elite level. That's how he became not just the highest paid rookie in NFL history, but one of the most powerful young names in sports, period. What makes it even crazier is that he was already passing big-name prospects like Cam Ward and Travis Hunter in earnings and popularity. Even without being a first-round pick like many expected, Shedeur showed that draft position doesn't decide your ceiling. Knowing your worth and playing the business game right does.
Yeah, we playing that shallow. Yeah. Which one my daddy cleat should I wear? 93s, 96s. I don't know the decision.
So when Cam Skattebo sat across from Shedeur Sanders and called him broke, that wasn't just trash talk. That was pure ignorance about how the NFL business world really works. It showed he doesn't understand the difference between making money and building real wealth. And it also put a target on his back with one of the most loyal fan bases in football. Shedeur Sanders fans don't play about disrespect. They ride for him the same way he competes on the field. And Skattebo is about to feel that energy real quick. Because while Shedeur took the high road and didn't escalate things on the show, his fans aren't going to let that slide. The backlash is already started, and it's only getting louder. At the end of the day, Cam Skattebo should have known better. You don't take shots at someone who's operating on a completely different level financially and professionally. Shedeur Sanders isn't just rich, he's building an empire. And calling someone like that broke doesn't make you sound tough or funny, it makes you look clueless. And once again, Shedeur Sanders showed why he's one of the smartest young players in the league. He didn't need to talk back, he didn't need to explain himself, he didn't even need to flex his net worth. That smile said everything, and the numbers do the rest of the talking. While Cam Skattebo is trying to stay relevant by throwing shots at bigger names, Shedeur Sanders is quietly becoming one of the most powerful and influential players in the entire NFL.